All right, let's talk about a new feature that is genuinely poised to change how we all write code. It's called Claude Code channels, and it's all about transforming our AI assistants from something we just ask questions to into a full-blown autonomous teammate that's always on the job. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about a problem that, let's be honest, every single developer deals with. Then, we'll introduce channels as the answer. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of what makes them so different, look at a really cool real-world example, and then zoom out to see what this means for the future of, well, everything. Okay, so let's start with reality. A reality that's probably a little too familiar for anyone who actually ships code for a living. Does your workday feel less like that focused, creative flow state we all crave, and more like you're just treading water in an ocean of notifications, where every single ping, every alert just yanks you right out of what you were doing? Yeah, that's because on any project that's even slightly complex, you're juggling all this stuff. You've got CI/CD alerts popping off, production is throwing errors, there are new comments on your PRs, bots are messaging you. It never stops. We've basically become this human router, standing between all of our tools and our AI, just constantly sorting and delegating tasks. So the big question is, how do we break out of that cycle? Well, Anthropic has just released a really powerful new feature inside Claude Code that's designed to do exactly that. And at its heart, the idea is beautiful in its simplicity. Channels are basically a direct pipeline, a hotline from all those external events, all that noise, straight into a live running session of Claude Code. No more manually feeding it information, it just flows. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, I can already pipe stuff into a command line. What's the big deal? And that's a fair question. The answer comes down to two really fundamental differences that make this a total game changer. So first up is this idea of warm versus cold sessions. The old way, the cold session, was basically a one-and-done deal. You send a command, a process spins up, does its thing, and then shuts down. It has no memory, no context. Channels connect to a warm session, an AI instance that's already running, that has the full context of your project, and it's just waiting, ready to act in a split second. And that brings us to the second big idea. Think of it like this. On one hand, you have remote control, which is awesome for when you want to be in the driver's seat, telling the AI exactly what to do. Channels are the other side of that coin. They empower the session to react automatically. When an event comes in, the AI is in charge of the response, no human needed. They work together perfectly. Okay. So theory is great, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's talk about how you could start using this, like today, to do some pretty amazing things. Okay, this is the wow moment. Seriously, picture this. You push some code. A few minutes later, the CI build fails. But instead of you getting a frantic Slack message, a webhook automatically fires and sends that entire failure log straight into your warm Claude session. Claude, which already understands the whole code base, sees the error, figures out the fix, writes the new code, commits it, and pushes it back to the repo. The pipeline runs again, and it passes. The entire loop fixed, without you lifting a finger. And that CI auto-fix loop, that's just one example. The sky's the limit here. You could have channels hooked up to Sentry or your production logs, proactively fixing errors as they happen. You could have it watch a folder for new files. You could trigger it with cron jobs to run automated health checks. You could even have it help manage a huge system failure during an outage. So when you start putting all of these pieces together, you realize this is so much bigger than just a neat feature. This is pointing towards a massive, fundamental shift in how we're all going to be building software. And that's the key takeaway right here. We are officially moving into the era of always-on agents. The AI is no longer just a tool you go to when you're stuck. It's becoming a persistent, active, and truly autonomous member of your team. This quote from the community absolutely nails it. When your teams are supercharged with capabilities like this, a completely different way of building software becomes possible. And for any company, that has enormous strategic importance. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about capability. So I want you to take a second and think about your own projects. You know the weak spots. You know the parts of the system that are brittle, the things that always seem to break at 3 a.m. Now, just imagine setting up an AI agent whose entire job is to watch over those fragile points and proactively fix them before they ever become a problem for you. So let's end with that thought. We are crossing a threshold, moving from AI as a co-pilot that helps us navigate to an autonomous teammate that works right alongside us, 24/7, making our systems stronger. The real question is, what are you going to build when your most dedicated teammate never needs to sleep?